Hi, I'm Brett Hickey, founder and CEO of Starmount Capital. Excited to be here with you today as part of Starmount Insights, Views from the Peak, where we talk about critical things going on in the economy and the markets, and also interview and speak with other thought leaders. Today, we're here to talk about the new qualified small business stock program tax bill and how it can potentially drive a positive impact and value for you as well as the US economy. Here with us today is an expert in not only small businesses, but also government affairs and many other things related to business, David Javdan. David is a partner at Alvarez Marsal and has a very long, rich history working with some of the leading public companies in America, as well as private equity owned businesses. And on top of that, he was also the former General Counsel for the Small Business Administration, which includes a large public-private partnership in the SBIC program that drives capital into small businesses as well. And on top of that, he was an investment committee member for that program that today has approximately $30 billion of capital invested into small businesses in partnership with the SBA, also a program that at Star Mountain, we are honored to be a participant in working with that. On top of that, today, David is also a current member of the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce. So with that, David, thank you for being with us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background? You've obviously done a ton of work with small businesses and government. Just double click on a couple things for folks.
Oh, absolutely. So I started off as a lawyer at a big Wall Street law firm. Had the opportunity to go into the government early in my career. The senior partner at my firm grabbed me by the collar and said, "Hey, kid, most people want to get that job in government. So when they're done, maybe if they're lucky, they can get the job you already have. If you just go into government, you'll just be a lobbyist. Nothing wrong with that. But if you can stay here, get substance, and then go into the government." And have both substantive knowledge to share as well as relationships, it'll be a big difference. And I took that advice, had 8 part-time appointments in state government, serving on the New York Banking Board, special counsel to New York's State Senate Insurance Committee, and that led me to becoming general counsel of the SBA for 4 years, where, yes, I had the pleasure of sitting on the investment committee and voting on hundreds of SBIC funds and staying involved, and have continued to be involved. That's part of the reason why I'm on the board of the U.S. Chamber. I think they were very interested for the private equity relationships we have, but even more so, the engine of America's economy is small business, 50% of jobs, but even more importantly, varying at times 70, 80% of new jobs are coming from
Mm.
small businesses, creating an opportunity for accelerated growth, and really, the resilience of the American economy.
That's great. And as we think about that, I know having grown up in Canada and moved to the US in 2004, it's a really, I think, incredible aspect of the US economy driving entrepreneurship, innovation, having people passion and drive to make things better, smarter, faster, I think has been a really big driver of the US economy's continued success and durability as the leading global economy. This new partnership and tax bill, which I think of as a public-private partnership, ultimately is to motivate private investors to invest into smaller businesses, allowing them to invest in companies, broadly speaking, that have under a $75 million initial valuation. And then if they hold them for a certain period of time, can be potentially a tax-free total return up to about a 10 times return on your money. For more information, we'll provide details for folks. But as we think about that, not only can that create a great investment opportunity for people when we all think about after tax returns, but beyond that, it encourages more capital to drive into businesses, to drive growth, innovation. As we have an aging demographic, a lot of these business owners are looking for fresh capital, fresh perspectives, fresh leadership. So I think that's another great example, similar to the program that you helped run with the SBA, to drive that capital and talent and resources into, as you say, a place that drives often far north of 50% of jobs in America. And another aspect that I know a lot of us as investment professionals talk about is the correlation in the markets, as the big tech companies have done a phenomenal job in many cases growing, creating value, but investors have then been inherently more concentrated in these, large Magnificent Seven and other. How do you think about that, David, as far as people looking for less correlated investments, but they're still high quality investments that serve a real purpose? Do you think this might be another program that helps encourage investors to ultimately diversify their portfolio as well?
I definitely think that the bill, as written, creates a lot of opportunity for smaller businesses. One, it helps them grow because it allows them to keep more money in their business. The immediate depreciation is incredibly important. The qualified business income deduction made permanent. I do think that the pass-throughs and a lot of other things are going to enable people to keep more of their own money in the business. A lot of the estate tax changes as well. Sort of the quirks that you had that a lot of traditionally, a lot of small businesses were taxed at a higher rate than large businesses. And I think this will encourage capital to flow into the businesses. There are also a lot of aspects that people don't pay attention to quite as much. The no tax on tips, I think, will be very helpful to a lot of these businesses. They still have to track it, but that will be a boost for a lot of their employees, helping keep more people in the sector. I think you're going to see a lot of a lot of paperwork reduction, which will reduce burdens on small businesses. So all that I think will really, yes, increase the opportunities. Obviously, the devil is always in the detail with the specific businesses, but as a holistic trend, I think it's going to create a whole lot more opportunities in the small business market.
That's great. Well, David, first of all, thank you for the service to the U.S. economy, to small businesses, and ultimately to all the families and jobs that creates and drives value for through a very large part of the entire U.S. economy and globally. Second, thank you for being a senior advisor with Star Mountain Capital. Certainly appreciate that and all your insights. And for more information, folks will be able to click on the link to learn more about your background, as well as the new qualified small business stock program updates. David, thank you again for joining us today.
Always an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.